in the last game. They were outplayed, they were dominated, dictated, and completely outplayed as JMSC secured the game emphatically. Well, they did manage to get a goal back in the 89th minute, but that wasn't enough for them to fight their way back, claw their way back. At the other end, Bengaluru United still looking for that all important victory, but then make no mistake, they haven't yet lost a game. Yesterday, we saw something similar. SC Bengaluru coming to this game against United Sports with a couple of draws in their bank, and they eventually managed to secure a very well played victory, a phenomenal performance in the first half, guaranteed 3 points for them. A 0-0 draw in the Bengaluru derby so far for Bengaluru United, and United Sports, they had a 1-all draw in the last game. Akshun Natyagi finding the back of the net for them. And as the banners they march out to the center, this is going to be a battle of extreme proportions. At one end, of course, the speed and experience of NEROCA Football Club, and at the other end, Bengaluru United. They have been fairly consistent in the last couple of editions. But NEROCA, they come in with a lot of maturity as well. Make no mistake, they've been a part of the Indian Football League, formerly in 2023-24 they were a part of the IFL. Unfortunately, things went horribly wrong for them, and they finished 12th in the tournament and eventually were relegated last year. Even in I-League 2, they barely saved themselves by the skin of their teeth, but this time they actually have a decent squad. They've got experience, they have got youngsters all set, all willing to make an impact, make a lasting, lingering impact on the fabric of I-League 2. So is this a season where the Orange Brigade eventually finds their way out? And if they need to find their way out, they'll have to start getting their senses in position, in perspective at the earliest. The reason being simple, because this is a shortened edition of the league. You don't really get a game against every opponent twice. You get a game against every opponent just once. So you try and make the most of it, or else it can very well be kingdom come for you. And that's exactly what NEROCA will definitely not like at this point in time. Well, goes without saying, right now at the rock bottom of the points table, they will be hoping to turn the tables at the earliest possible. And this is their first away game, apart from the one in apart from the one that they played in Mumbai last week. Well, today's officials, Akash Kumar, Kamlesh Kumar Mehta, the referee, the two assistant referees, Yuvraj Anand Tari and Yashwant Narayan Gaunkar, and the fourth official, Irfan Imtiaz Sheikh, who was also the referee of yesterday. And Tajesh Chandrakant Shah, our match commissioner. A few smiles before the game begins. The two captains, Vidyananda, spearheading the likes of Bengaluru United, and at the other end, Rohit Mitay today returns to the starting 11, was given a bit of rest in the last game. So obviously will be hoping to be fresh from the rest, and at the same time realizes that this is an urgent situation. This is dire straits, and until they manage to find a way out of this quagmire that they are in, out of this jeopardy that they are in, things might set them back by a million miles. They will need points in this game, and if possible, maybe the full 3 points. Not easy away from home in completely, drastically, diametrically different conditions of Bengaluru, something which is not as similar when they play in their own hometown. So on the cooler side, it's about a test for the other teams that walk out there. But now it's a test for them that they'll have to familiarize themselves with the situation, with the conditions, with the fettle of Bengaluru. So we are underway here at the CSE Arena. Kicking on your frame from the left to the right in their signature whites are the visitors, NEROCA FC. And kicking on your frame from the right to the left, the hosts in flamboyant red is FC Bengaluru United, who's going to finally make the cut for the 3 points, who's going to finally leave an indelible impact on the fabric of the league for this week. All the questions that's out there in the center, the answers will be coming up in the next 90 minutes. Good setup there from Bengaluru United. Movement from the right, trying to lay it off, slightly emasculated on that one. Couldn't really inject the kind of power he was looking forward to. There was an incredible ball and almost headed it down as well. Early pressure on the back line of NEROCA FC. They could have come apart at the seams out there. Just couldn't capitalize that, FC Bengaluru United. That was a decent move in the making. Change of goalkeeping personnel and a bit of an early trial by fire for him, despite the fact that he didn't have to get a hand to it. But then the defense of NEROCA almost opening up the gates as wide as possible, allowing FC Bengaluru United to just storm in through. These are warning signs, and NEROCA will not be able to deny it. They'll have to think about, reassess, recalibrate their strategy early on. Just those changes won't really help their way. Vidyasagar with a lovely run from the right and eventually denied an entrance into the box. Also, slightly early there on that shot taken. Needed to possibly hold himself back. Well, right now what NEROCA needs to do, they just need to calm down. Feels like they are already under the pump and they are almost walking into the trap of that high press, the gegen pressing that FC Bengaluru United is set for them. And now NEROCA decided to probe Bengaluru United's rear guard with one of those long balls. Decent collection there by Manju Hirekobar. A little blow as well to the ribs. We'll take a look once again. That was that move, Bariam Jr. Bariam kept on going and eventually deposited the ball straight into the safe hands of Jackson Singh. Another lovely run from the left. Wonderful bit of work altogether. Kind of checked onto that run, didn't go for it at the first go itself, and that opened things up for him. And eventually when he did manage to make his entrance into that penalty box, had a fine bit of leeway ahead of him. Unfortunately, before he could release the ball, he just found a defender lining up for that slide, and that was wonderfully done by NEROCA. Another one of those long balls. It's almost a wave of attacks already. Enam Jurma, who was out there from the right, another one of those crosses, but this time gets it all wrong, slightly overpowered, and miss it at the same time. Jackson will breathe a sigh of reprieve seeing the ball sail out to the park. Vidyananda does well. Another lovely cross in the box again, and a watchful headed clearance. Had to come up with that. These are really troubling, alarming signs for FC Bengaluru. Apologies for NEROCA FC. The way Bengaluru has started, it feels like from both ends they are firing one cannon shot after the other. Another set piece for them. A well taken corner. And once again, panic clearance. And now NEROCA, out of nowhere, they might just go forward. And they eventually go forward. A chance for them to try and take a shot. Fires one, but just drags it wide. What a lovely run there from Sanatoi Mite. Latching onto that long ball there. Took the ball, controlled it took it away from his marker. Then once he had the goal in his sights, did manage to pull the trigger, but slightly difficult angle, didn't really have his own body in control. That little upper half of his body was kind of inclined to the back, thereby taking the balance away and also taking the power away from the shot and maybe that direction as well. Now this is quality end-to-end action. If Sanatoy, he could have got the ball into the net, you never know. Against the turn of the play, things could have been entirely different. But this is the kind of start, this is the kind of pacey, furious start that we all love to watch in a game in the I-League 2. Vidyananda through the center has found Alan Campolindo. Back to Vidyananda again. And this is what you need to do, particularly when you have conceded an attack just a few moments ago. You have to slow things down, maybe play a few more passes and try and carve open that chemistry that you have with your teammates. Urge the opposition, come out of your boxes maybe, let us some space. That's the kind of response that you would usually expect against a side like NEROCA. Bengaluru United just tells you one thing, that they have done their homework. It's as simple as that. NEROCA at the very start felt like they were completely overwhelmed by that sudden surge of attacking intent that we witnessed. Bengaluru, of course, it goes without saying, looking for that all-elusive victory, and NEROCA as well looking for that all-elusive opening victory. Vidyananda comes up with that crossfield ball to the far right. Enam on the ball, and Enam eventually forced out of the parking lot for a throw-in. NEROCA, it's good to see that they are not willing to take chances. That's sensible football, especially when you haven't been in the best of shapes. You have conceded quite a few goals so far, 4 goals in the last 3 games. You'll try and keep the ball as far away from that own box of yours as possible. Not trying to do anything fancy. And slightly different today, what NEROCA has done is, in the last few games, they were playing from the back. But today, they are resorting to the long balls. They're sticking to that Route 1 brand of football, which has so far kind of unsettled Bengaluru United on a few attacks that they have gone. That's a lovely bit of movement. Had a lot of space going forward. Should have carried the ball forward. But so far, well done. Good ball into the center. And he did well to control it, to challenge out there in the opposition box. But brilliantly done by Manju Hirikurbar. Out of his line in no time, wrapping his gloves around the ball, ensuring the fact that he had his own base covered. NEROCA now, that's the second time they were out for an adventure. They were out for a foray, almost pushing back Bengaluru United. Now these are sudden surges, more like flashes of instinctive brilliance, and it can do a lot of harm to any team. This is turning out into a game of fury, a game of speed, and a game of imperiously high oscillating exchanges. Another good ball, knocked forward, wonderfully taken care of. NEROCA managing to hold on for themselves. That's a decent attempt by Bariam Jr., knocking it straight into the box, and Jackson does well to come out of his line and collect the ball without any trouble whatsoever. That's a decent bit of move out there. Lovely outside dribble out as well. Good release by Sanatoy Mite. He needed to be a bit more careful in terms of the accuracy. Decent bit of interception as well coming in. And now good to see NEROCA starting to finally make a few ripples. But this time, while he went to collect the ball, there was a little push from the back. Referee blowing a whistle out there, awarding a free kick for Bengaluru United. Another one of those excellent deliveries and a decent cross. Nicely headed away to safety. And finally, the referee blowing the whistle as the assistant referee raised the flag. I'll have to redo that one. Might have started a bit too early on that. The first 11 minutes has been extremely lively. The first 11 minutes has been very, very active. Both the sides have looked absolutely solid and formidable, hoping to hunt down each other. The urgency to try and chronicle that first victory, it's kind of tangible so far from the efforts that these two sides have knitted together. A wonderful ball forward, does well to control it. Decent defending, hardy defending there. Another one of those crosses towards the far side. Lovely bit of slide as well. Alan Campbell Linto had to come back, had to fight his way back, and then eventually set up with a wonderful bit of cross there. Almost found his teammate at the receiving end again, just slipped up. Couldn't really get hold of the ball. That's what you would want. That's the kind of intensity, the kind of urgency that you will want, especially when you are still looking for that all-important victory. Slightly scrappy. Both the sides desperate to win the ball, and eventually they do. NEROCA now. Lovely ball once again in the box. A challenge for Manju Herekurbar. He does well to collect the ball. Nalapan Mohanraj, part of Mohun Bagan, formerly as a player, of course, last season. Possibly was on the sidelines of Satirur in I League 2. In Satirur, they played a completely different brand of football. Runners up of I League 2, and this year, apologies, Satirur were good enough in I League 2, but just couldn't held on to the momentum that they were looking forward to. There was a wonderful bit of work altogether. Lovely run again. Lijo K trying to make the most of that cross. Unfortunately, couldn't find the exact personnel that he was looking forward to. A decent bit of work again from the right. Both the wings have been extremely active. A little tussle for the ball as well. Referee says, let's keep the wheels in motion. Once again, one for the frame, all the way into the gloves of Jackson Singh. And now a counter-attack. Trouble in paradise, maybe? Not really. Manju Herekurbar coming out of his line and doing a phenomenal bit of work out there. End-to-end football for now. NEROCA as well, sticking to those long balls, trying their very best to deliver it. A bit of a hold-up out there. Looks like one of those changes just being prepared just in case Ashley Alban Coley. A little chat between Gift Rekhan and the players as well, kind of just explaining what are the things that has to be done, that has been done so far. Well, just a quick clarification and an apology as well. Last year, Nalapan Mohanraj, the coach of Bengaluru United, he was with Bengaluru United, guided the team to a fourth place finish. Decent bit of work altogether. The kind of technical expertise that he brings in, more importantly, the fighting spirit that he brings in, makes Bengaluru United the formidable side that they are. Wonderful ball towards the right. Lovely day off. A chance again with the doors closed just in time. Lee Jo K almost set to try and steer it into that goal frame. Denied in the dying embers of the ball there. Wonderful movement again. That is the kind of slick transition that you will like to see. Every player coming together, knowing their form, knowing that assignment that they have to pull off. And they are doing so without breaking a sweat. Early change. And that is more of a forced change. Enam Jurwa, he won't be taking any more part in this game, unfortunately. That injury looks serious enough, forcing Mohan Raj to bring in Ashley Albin Kohli. Corner will be floated in by Alan Campolinto. Alan does well, eludes everyone, unfortunately. A little tailing hand out there. Bariam Jr. knocked down, but referee was having none of it. Abdul Hanan, lovely ball towards the far side, and somehow point blank range, and still the feathers remain unruffled. What a glorious chance, and possibly the best chance of the afternoon. Controls it with a couple of neat touches and delivers an inviting cross towards the far end. Wonderful bit of work altogether. Almost chased down until the very end. Just couldn't get the header right and lost track of the ball's trajectory. But that's the kind of intensity that you would love to see over and over again. That's the kind of accuracy that you would love to see. Only if the finishing was right, things should have been okay, things should have been good enough. And now it's NEROCA who are out on the move, out on the prowl, looking to shake things up a bit. Good bit of teamwork, good backup there. Fine delivery in the box, eludes everyone in the process. It's going to be a goal kick, NEROCA as well. Every single chance that they get to try and hit back Bengaluru United, forcing them into that defensive integument. It's been quite a treat. They have been fast, they have been relentless, they have been ruthless. A little awkward wobble out in the center. It kind of keeps the ball away from the players. Again, trying to come up with that forward ball. Unfortunately, gets interceded. And from there, Bengaluru United straight up. No relent whatsoever. The sheer fury of that counter-attack from Bengaluru United. Time and time again, they get hold of the ball. The way they activate the wings, the right and the left, maybe now they should start thinking about trying to penetrate through the center as well. Give a little bit of variation, a little more dimension to the attacks that they have so far come up with. Both the wings, despite all those challenges that's come in, NEROCA standing tall. But yes, there were a few ups and downs that they had to take care of. That's a wonderful bit of work, and definitely a brilliant maneuver altogether to try and find an advancing Akshuna Tyagi. Gets a corner for his team. The way NEROCA is kind of dealing with these wing plays from FC Bengaluru United will beg a few questions if they are actually ready to try and confront it all. Alan Campolinto will once again be the one tasked with the onus, trying to curl it in close enough to that goal there. A little hand gesture. Elevates that way too much! And out of the chaos comes a header of certainty. A hit of absolute confidence. And a finish that propels FC Bengaluru United into the driver's seat. Wonderful delivery towards the far side. And just take a look how completely unmarked there. Akshuna Tyagi waited for the flight of the ball, and that little eternity of wait turns out into the machine that produces gold. And the deadlock rattled out here in the CAC arena. And NEROCA once again with hands on their head. No response, no retaliation, no riposte. Stunned, shell-shocked, gobsmacked. We kept on pointing out it's the wing play of Bengaluru United that's creating all troubles. And from a set piece came that all-important opener. Sanatoi trying to go all the way by himself, eventually denied. Good ball towards that far side out there. NEROCA has a chance. And that little chip takes the deflection along the way, goes out for a corner. Lovely work out there. Brilliant cross, brilliant inviting cross towards that far post. David just couldn't keep his header right. And then the second ball fell almost at the feet of his teammate. But he had a lot of resistance ahead of him. They say that you are the most vulnerable when you've just scored a goal. That little confidence still out there. And at times you need to take care of the fact that it doesn't turn into complacency. Malangamba Mitei to deliver the corner. Gets that left-footed outswinger. And eventually it doesn't reach anyone at the process. The outswinger has such a venomous curl that it goes away from everyone. And this time the referee, no doubts, no hesitations whatsoever in his mind. Akash Kumar, Kamlesh Kumar Mehta flashing out what should have been a free kick nonetheless. Bengaluru United, when they are playing through the center, they are going for a few long balls again, snatched away. And that's a lovely bit of run as well. Trying to fire one from distance again, kind of lost that shape of his. Couldn't really come up to that position from where the shot would have been of some menace to the opposition. Hammers it downtown. Good bit of headed clearance as well. Bariam Jr. now switching between the right and left. Again, this is one of those abilities which he absolutely has and does so beautifully. That little shuffle from the right to the left. And also the availability of Vidyananda Singh. It gives him that flexibility. Vidyananda Singh can eventually cover a lot of yards operating in that central role at times switches on to the flanks out there. Another lovely ball. Akshuna failing to connect there. Had Akshuna connected again, it could have been an utter disaster for NEROCA FC. They are looking for some oxygen and they're not finding any bit of it. And after a long time, they've got the ball away from that own half in the box. Lovely layoff and brilliant interception again. A watchful interception, one might say. Horam was out there, carried the ball all the way, and straight away a challenge at the other end. Alan Campolinto, Alan, wonderful delivery into the cantering stride of Akshuna, and Akshuna caught in that offside trap. But once again, what brilliant movement, what slick transitions, and terrific brand of football altogether from both sides. When it comes to attacks, both the sides are almost matching each other ounce for ounce. The only problem is, for NEROCA, their defense seems extremely shaky and fragile. They're almost giving way at the faintest of touches. Only if they could find a way to complete that, to plug that gap, it could have been a completely different equation for them, for the visitors. Yeah, a little tug out there from Vidyananda, of course, goes without saying. The referee blowing the whistle, awarding a free kick on that occasion. Gonna be interesting to see who's the one responsible, who's the one who's got the onus on him to try and fire home one of those belters. We've got Malangamba Mite, is it? Lining things up. This can be a promising bit of a distance out there. Yes, Malangamba Mite, he's all set. The scaling out the possible range. A three-man wall ahead of him. Then secondary reinforcements as well just behind. Malangamba blasts it out of the park. Needed precision, but could impart only elevation. We'll take a look again. Went underneath the ball. Never really looked like he was going to drill it flat. And everyone standing as a mere onlooker as the ball sailed away, like the hopes of a possible NEROCA equalizer on that last attack. And straight away from there, another move altogether from the right. Sanatoi laying it off for Horam. Horam doesn't really get that space. Horam denied, stopped in his tracks. Had Horam freed himself, it could have been a different tale. And now, last minute clearance at the expense of a throw-in. Needed a touch out there, or else it was going away for another corner. But before we move into this throw, we'll have a little drink break in order for the players to stay hydrated. But so far, so good. So far, decent footballing action that we've seen until now in today's game. FC Bengaluru United, one goal is what they have in that bank, scored by Akshuna Tyagi from that corner. Alan Campolinto with the throw-in, and we resume action. Alan trying to knock it forward, almost hammered it straight at the opposition defense. Good little forward flick. Wonderful chance again. And a brilliant swipe from range there. Ramdina will take a look out there. Slightly scrambling affair. And then that little release by Lee Jo K. Ramdina one-sighted the goal. And bam, went for it. That's the kind of confidence and accuracy and conviction that you want in yourself that Ramdina just showed. Try and convert the half chances into goal maybe, because that leads to troubles, and that not just leads to troubles, it leads to a lot of complications for a side like NEROCA, who's come all the way from the hills to Bengaluru, right now trailing. Had the second goal come in, things could have been very devastating. This time stepped on the ball, lost his footing there. Ashley Alvin Kohli. Now that little run from the left, trying to knock it for Haram, but Haram doesn't get any touch of the ball out there. A little fury as well. Not quite happy with the call of Akash Kumar Mehta. That is why the dissent, but the referee was having none of it. Another throw in for Bengaluru United. They'll be happy with the way they have performed so far. Kind of called the shots emphatically, kind of looked their opposition in the eye and have made them feel extremely unwelcome in their own fortress. Quite a picturesque ground, quite a brilliant facility for young athletes in Bengaluru. The CSE Arena. Vidyananda urging his players, move forward. Don't you worry, there's no need to come down here. I have the bases covered. That's the kind of confidence that you want from your skipper. The clarity as well, knows what he wants from his side. And more importantly, it's the presence. It's that towering presence, that confident presence in the midfield. Somebody who can operate the game, somebody who can be the puppet master pulling the strings to perfection. Long throw for Bengaluru United. Repelled away. A little trip. And the referee has pointed to the spot. That is how a disaster unfolds. No words whatsoever for NEROCA. David, Rohit Mitay. They can be in intransigence as much as they want. But the decision has been made by Akash Kumar Kamlesh Kumar Mehta. And that isn't a propitious one for FC Bengaluru. Apologies for NEROCA FC. They were looking for that all-important insurance goal, and nothing's better than a spot kick. Akshuna Tyagi, he is all set to try and get things in place. That little move out there, and Akshunda holds his breath and delivers that into the net to perfection. His brace and his team has also got 2 goals in that repertoire. NEROCA FC will now need a miracle and a half, a comeback and a half, if they are to snatch a point from this game. Just take a look at that composure, that equanimity. Steps up, sends the goalkeeper in a completely different direction, and eventually pummels that into the bottom corner with perfection. What a phenomenal penalty. No chance whatsoever for a young Jackson Singh. And that's the confirmation. Akshana Tyagi with his second of the day. And NEROCA right now tattered, torn in absolute pieces. And Jackson now almost giving the ball away, and that too with not 1 but 2 opposition marauders in the box. That's what pressure does to you. From here on, it's going to be intriguing to see how NEROCA reacts. Has Gift Rekhan got the necessary fireworks to try and pull them back? But one thing that they'll have to keep in mind is they'll have to fight together. If they let their shoulders drop, then it can very well be game over for them. It's an uphill task, but it's not impossible. In recent times in Indian football, especially in the Star Cement IFL, we've seen quite a few goals coming off in the last minutes of the game. And in fact, NEROCA themselves, they scored one in the 89th minute in the last game, despite the fact that it didn't really had a lot of impact on the fabric of the game. But then, with that being said, things can be slightly different and tricky out here. And once again, lovely run out there, just not able to create that up. Vidyananda quick to react, trying to get the gates closed in no time. A little challenge with Sanatoi Mitei. Sanatoi does well. And NEROCA now, they'll have to be in sync with each other. They'll have to move forward in tandem. A good bit of work out there. Little twist and turn. Finds Vidyananda along the way. Vidyananda waiting for no seconds whatsoever. Takes the ball, turns around, and eventually starts moving. That is so good to watch. And now here they come from the right. That's well done. Needed to try and change the trajectory of the ball. Comes in between, wins the ball, and from there trying to set up one of those counter offensives. Shivaji through the center, getting hold of the ball possibly for the first time there. Has been kind of rendered silent by the quality of play, by the kind of play that we've had. Good ball in the box, volley from distance. And that was certainly a shot of intent, a shot of substance, and a shot that could have precipitated some fear in the hearts of FC Bengaluru United. What a lovely ball there, and phenomenally done. Nothing wrong with the intent, just that little more precision in the execution, and it could have been a completely different ball game. What a brilliant moment. Just that little warning shot there for Bengaluru United, that don't you write us off straight away. There's a lot that we can pull off as well. And that's why they are the Orange Brigade, a side teeming with experience, a side rife with fairly experienced players who have been in decent form. Shivajit Singh, coming from Bengal Super League, was in very good form altogether. Even in I-League 2, he's actually shown the quality that he brings in. It's just that the kind of players who could eventually put that service to a bit of conversion into goal scoring form, that's been missing. I think apart from Sanatoi Mitei, the rest of the players, and David to a certain extent, the rest of the players for NEROCA in that attacking front has been fairly inconsistent. Good bit of work out there, trying to come all the way from the left, eventually blocked, and from there hoping to find something of their own, launches it forward. Horam, he's got speed, he's got space ahead of him, will need a few of his teammates to arrive in the box out there, lays it off, and then along the way, a couple of touches, and could have been troublesome basically. For a moment, it felt like the ball had kind of caught the Bengaluru United defense off guard. But lucky for them that no serious damage was done. Another one of those long throws there. Bengaluru United, they just want that own half of theirs protected now. No nonsense defending is what they are resorting to, and that should work out. But NEROCA, they will be waiting out for those long balls. Referee not really flinching to the appeals of NEROCA FC. Alan Campalento. Back to Vidyananda. Alan again. Does well, but good closing down. Shivajit now dropping deep, realizing that merely standing up front won't get his job done. Being tending to get a bit physical as well. And Horam failing to control that ball, knocked forward. All right, unfortunately, just couldn't get himself into the position. Last 5 minutes at the first half. Will that trip out there? Malem Mitei, Malengamba Mitei, trying to move away, trying to take that little outside dribble. Eventually clipped along the process. Aaron Campbell, Incho. He was taking no prisoners whatsoever. I think a little complaint there from Rohit Matei. Irfan having a quick chat with Akash Kumar Mehta. What initially looked like there was that little budge of hand there. Not really sure if there was some hand involved. Alan Campbell, Incho, that little duel with Rohit Matei might be something of a talking point. Nalapan Mohan he'll be a happy man seeing his team in the act, seeing his team score a couple of goals, and the goal scorer standing right next to the management, Achana Tyagi. Over the years, he's looked in great form. And the kind of maturity that he's shown over the years, that's really impressive. The yellow cards come out, and it's been given to someone on the bench, on the NEROCA bench basically, and Sanatoi now urging if that will also be brandished to Alan Campolinto. Now Alan Campolinto, he's outside, he needs to come in. No, the referee, it's just that one yellow card, and that too to someone on the bench. Just that little warning. Please stay calm. There's no need to take things into your own hands. I'm there to control the game. Nicely chested down and straight away hammering it forward. A chance maybe. Goes all the way to the goalkeeper. Young Jackson Singh making his debut in this year's I-League 2. Of course, would have wanted a slightly better start. But then that's what the life of a goalkeeper is. At times you're not just ready for what's coming at you. At times you're not just ready for what you're up against. Incredible ball onto that far right. Will have to try and control that. Eventually does the right thing. Decides to jam it into the opposition and at least try and sneak a throw in there. Nicely done by Sanatoi. One of those long throws there from Rohit Matei. Launches that into the box. A little bounce as well, and David Singh does get the header but just doesn't get it right. A little dissent from the Bengaluru United players as well. Possibly for that push out there on the defensive, or in the defensive third. And nicely brought down. Does bend. Here they come, trying to knock on the doors. A little switch to the left, a little switch to the right. Another quick throw in as there. Crossfield ball attempted. The idea was to try and find David Singh on the left. David Singh, again, not much of ball service for him. He's someone who loves to play running forward with the ball. But again, more like a distant figure out there on the left. And just on cue, David kind of went a bit too hard into that tackle. Bariam Jr. brought down, and the referee blowing the whistle for a free kick. Also, as the game goes on, 3 minutes of additional time, just a few moments ago in the frame. You take a look out there on the ramp outside the park, you will see little kids playing. That's a welcome spectacle in any part of the country, in any part of the globe. Something beautiful, something absolutely brilliant. And apart from that, well, of course, the quality of football that we've seen out in the park, that's excellent. And now Akshan Natyagi. He's down on the pitch out there in a bit of agony. Question is, will he need some treatment? Should be alright, should be okay. Going to be a free kick out here for Akshan Natyagi for Bengaluru United, and they've taken that at the earliest, not trying to waste a second, and almost shut down very ruthlessly by NEROCA. In the second half, they'll have work to do. 2-0 is what the cushion is against them right now. A little stutter, but then Bariam Jr. does well to get himself back up. Finds Alan Lingdo on the left. Alan, back to Bariam again. Vidyananda, cool, calm, composed, never really phased, despite a couple of opposition players coming up against him. Nicely chested down, trying to bring that under control. Ramdina with a fine run through the box. But that ball just going away from Ramdina. All the way back to Jackson. Jackson kind of waiting for the opposition to step up. Not pretty sure what the idea was when you're down by 2 goals. The onus is upon you to try and take it forward and not play as if you are the one who's in the driver's seat for now, because that can lead to challenges and that can lead to a lot of problems. Jackson. Lays it to the left, but then back to Jackson again. A little push from the back with Vidyasagar Singh. That was definitely not by the books, allowing NEROCA to have a throw in their favour. Yeah, the ball almost took an eternity to arrive. That's what really got NEROCA off those little hackles of theirs. This time the throw in goes the other way. 3 minutes almost done and dusted, maybe a bit more extension because Akshan Natyagi, he was down on the pitch in agony a few moments ago. Little instruction from Vidyasagar, launch it forward, Akshuna. And now the ball's fallen back for a Bengaluru United player. Almost getting hold of it from Dina. NEROCA quickly trying to switch it forward. That's good quality link-up football. Sanatoi from the right trying to cut in. Horam taking it a bit too long to try and turn. And that's the whistle for the first half. Akash Kumar, Kamlesh Kumar Mehta says enough of battles for 45 minutes. We'll have a breather and be back in the second half. That's the confirmation at the end of the first 45 minutes. It's 2-0 now in favor of Bengaluru United. Akshan Natyagi with the brace will take a short breather and be back with the second half of the contest. Stay tuned, everyone.
triple substitution at half-time from FC Bengaluru United. Jersey number 34, Lijo, is replaced by jersey number 10, Nikhil. Jersey number 27, Alan, replaced by jersey number 29, Max. Jersey number 15, Vidya, replaced by jersey number 33, Simon.
Hello, everyone. We welcome you back for the second half of the contest. Three changes for Bengaluru United. That's kind of surprising. A team that's leading right now, they have decided to shake things up a bit and just bring about few of their very own, hoping to test out the bench strength. Maximinus Dangmei, he's made his way in place of Alan Campolinto. Alan definitely looked good, but once again, it's, I think, a part of the process for Mohan Raj Malappan to just bring about that little change, shake things up, check out that bench strength of theirs. Savin Eriksson, he's come in place of Lee Joke. And Vidyasagar Singh making space for Nikhil Raj. Also changes at the other end as well. Aloysius coming on, Amarjit Singh coming on, and definitely Michael Singh coming on as well.
Moran replaced by jersey number 29, Michael. And jersey number 66, Manan, is replaced by jersey number 17, Amarjit.
And we're underway for the second half of the act altogether. Right now, FC Bengaluru United, they are 2 goals to good. And they will be hoping to make the most of the second half as well. Keep that all-important cushion in place and ensure they are hitting back the opposition at the earliest. But that's a wonderful ball already in the box. The idea was to try and find Akshan Natyagi. And Akshan Natyagi almost gunning for that hat-trick. Just couldn't get the target right. Ramdina with the corner. Ramdina, decent delivery to be honest. And that's headed away for another corner. Ramdina definitely will like to replicate what he just did a few moments ago. That right-footed outswinger curls it towards that far post. Abdul Hanan shielding it out so that his teammates could win a throw-in. But then NEROCA eventually gets hold of that and nicely parried away. No risk taken whatsoever. A decent bit of clearance coming in from Detol. Another one of those long throws. It's a bit of a ballooning arc, to be honest. And trying to control that ball, it was never really going to be easy. Ideally, it needs to be in a much more circular arc that can eventually create that threat that you're looking forward to. But that was not the case. A little back flick doesn't really work out. Michael Singh coming in place of Shibajit. Two changes so far, three changes in fact. Oram as well taken off. Aloysius getting back to the thick of things. Has been a part of that attacking unit in the last three games. NEROCA, they'll have to do something and they'll have to do it early enough. The more they wait is the more trouble they invite onto themselves here. Another chance, but the referee's already blown the whistle, awarding a free kick. Kind of waited out a bit too long, hoping that NEROCA might have just claimed the ball back. But that wasn't the case. It was always going away from them. Arun Kumar, NEROCA, they'll have to start on a feisty note, to be honest. Maybe try and come up with a couple of their attacks, those changes that they have made. That's a good bit of work there. Amarjeet Singh trying to cushion it off. Desperate attempt to try and win the ball. Does well. Still the hunt goes on for the ball. Aloysius on the turn there. Decent link up with Suranjit Singh. Another one of those crosses into the box there. Nicely brought down, but that first touch, after what looked very good, took the ball away from him, and that is where the opposition defense came in strongly. Another one of those moves out there, this time trying to find that left wing in the act. Kishan Singh on that overlap. Kishan does well. Suranjit again. Suranjit has got Amarjeet ahead of him, but he decides to drop the ball straight into the penalty box. Sana with that little turn wins a corner for his team as well. That maneuver, that little feint, that drop of the shoulder is what left the entire defense perplexed. We'll take a look. Excellent game reading and understanding from Suranjit Singh, and he found Sanatoi exactly where he wanted. A corner for NEROCA FC. Can NEROCA come up with something extraordinary, something brilliant in the second half? Launches that into the traffic, goes away from everyone. Aloysius still on the ball and doesn't get the space that he wanted. Another ball in the box, brought down all right, still on the ball, looking for space. And now a little flick towards the far side. Falls back for NEROCA. They go for a shot from range, and that has sailed out of the park. A little paroxysm of despair there from Michael Singh. He wanted something better. Launches that downtown, clear away. The referee again blowing the whistle. The decisions piling up against NEROCA, and they aren't really happy. In a very good position to have a free kick from. Got a couple of their players out there. Bengaluru United, Ashley Alban Kohli. He decides to move away. Came on in the first half in place of Enam after he was injured and kind of forced to be taken off. Launches that and launches it out of the park. A little extension of boot as well from Abdul Hanan. Just fancying his chance, nothing more than that. Take a look once again. So far, the quality of the free kicks that you would usually expect, that hasn't been the case. There you go. Knocked out of the park and knocked a million miles away. And NEROCA almost stepping up. Aloysius on that little chase of the ball eventually decides to give on the pursuit. You know, one thing for certain, Manju Herekurbar would have been easy for him at the end of the day. Always good to see young kids watching the game. A learning curve. Again, at the end of the day, this is I-League 2. So kind of just tells you the lessons that you take home from games like these. It can be a massive stepping stone for the upcoming days. It's always impressive to see how quickly Bengaluru United, they are coming for that press, and that overt aggression from the men in red has really left NEROCA on the edge of their seats. They're hardly able to react, they're hardly able to respond. Time and time again, more like they're tilting at the windmills. And NEROCA, so far, the way they have conceded possession, it's been kind of eyesore. 53 minutes on. Well knocked forward. Ashley Alban Kohli laying it back for his teammate. Bariam Jr. Bariam plays a lovely ball, wonderfully chested down. Brilliant finish, to be honest. Right place, right time, and absolutely the perfect touch. NEROCA undone, unspooled, unraveled. And most likely the goal will not count. Yeah, that little touch on the goalkeeper, maybe Jackson Singh. Yeah, unlucky. Very, very lucky for the visitors. That could very well have been the killing blow altogether. What a wonderful ball that. That lovely little flick as well. That was so good. Bengaluru United, they'll be hapless. But nonetheless, the intent, that's exactly the intent that they want. And NEROCA, time and time again, coming apart at the seams. Long balls proving to be absolute question marks. And hardly any response, any answers from them. Good bit of work, and now through the center. Drives from range. Needed a lot more power on the ball, kind of lacking that, kind of faltering on that shot there. Looked like didn't get the connection right. Had a bit of an awkward bounce on the ball as well, taking it away. Knocks it forward. Little back header, easy enough collection for Ashley Alban Kohli. Ashley propelling it downtown, unfortunately propelling it miles away from his own teammate, takes it out of the game altogether. Throw in. Kishan. Kishan finds David. David, way too easy there. Somehow that penetrative power of David has been lacking in the last two games against GMSC and now against Bengaluru United. A couple of step overs in the box. Takes that little outside turn. David absolutely not happy, kind of livid with the referee's call. Was expecting a corner, and the referee kind of throwing a spanner in his plans. The first two games, David was absolutely sensational. The introduction of David in the second half against Delhi FC in that opener is what brought a leash of life to NEROCA FC in the second half, and that's the only point that they managed to secure. Right now, they don't really look in a position from where they can garner a point. At this point in time, they are being outmuscled, outplayed, outclassed, almost decimated. And unless they get something to show for in the upcoming minutes, it will only get tougher. They're already behind the eighth ball. They don't want themselves out of the board. That's a nasty collision. Almost went jamming into the opposition. The referee awards a throw in for NEROCA. Trying to wriggle one through. But 1 versus 2, never going to be easy. Always going to be challenging. Quality work. Just couldn't keep the ball in control. Going out of the park, another throw in for NEROCA Football Club. NEROCA, they definitely have ventured forth a lot more in the last 5 minutes, maybe. Bengaluru United having to fend off for themselves. But this is exactly what NEROCA will have to do, and they'll have to do a lot more. They'll have to accentuate that attacking intent that they have in their sides. Now, this is where the challenges begin. There's a little gap there between that midfield of NEROCA and the attacking unit. Time and time again, that's exactly where Bengaluru United has managed to steal the ball away and venture forward. And unless NEROCA can fix this, they are walking into a trap that they do not like. They are walking into a trap that will not do any good for them whatsoever. Long free kick there. Lovely bit of fisting from an advancing Manju Hirekurbar. And now Ashley almost on the heels of the opposition. Once again, this losing the ball out here. It's more like a question mark. A little shoulder push. Does well to control the ball and stay on the ball as well. Ashley with that turn. So easy for FC Bengaluru United. Bariam Jr. trying to knit it on the run itself. Lucky for NEROCA that David Singh eventually decides to step in and intervene, or else it could have been once again a little shot of trouble. And now at the other end, an opportunity, an opening for NEROCA trying to make their way into the box. David almost single-handedly fighting it off. Another cross, very emaciated, easy enough for Bengaluru United to parry it away. Back to David. David trying to cushion it off for his teammate. And how quickly Bengaluru United closes things down. Wonderfully done. Michael. In fact, that was Maximinus. And he was taken off. Free kick awarded there. And also the yellow card comes out for Rohit Matei. NEROCA, they have only gone from bad to worse. Hardly any resistance, hardly any challenges that will be good enough to try and stall Bengaluru United. For the moment, it feels like they're all over the place. Another one of those decent free kicks. In a good position to have it from as well. Ramdina, lovely ball. And just that little bounce that takes it away from the goal. It's a corner. We'll have to see who was the last one responsible for the touch. There you go, Ramdina floating that. Wonderful bit of work out there by Abdul Hanan. Just that extra bit of bounce. That's a confirmation. Rohit Matei with the yellow card. Ashley with the corner slightly flatter. Trouble once again brewing in the box out there. Too easy for Bengaluru United for now. They're getting the ball so many times. Another lovely ball going for the acrobatic. Misses out the first touch. Proving to be a letdown for Abdul Hanan. They will get a corner all right, Bengaluru United, but they had a better chance. If Abdul Hanan could have just controlled the ball, could have been something different. Ashley takes it along the carpet this time. Back to Ashley again. Ashley towards that far post. Trying to cushion it down for his teammate, but just doesn't get the right connection. And finally, NEROCA, they were successful in diffusing the danger. Well, this happened a few moments ago. That was the free kick Wonderful bit of fisting out there. Lovely work altogether from Manju Hirikurbar. A nice bit of interception again, just coming along the trajectory of the ball, decent quality. And good body shielding there from the NEROCA defender, ensuring the fact that it's a goal kick. Young Jackson Singh tested for the first time and somehow not really the best of tastes in his mouth. But again, that's what a goalkeeper does. At times, you just have to think about what are the things he could have done differently. Tongs it forward there. Manju hasn't yet been tested so far, apart from those one of those occasions where he had to come out with that little fist fight, ensured the fact that he kept his team in the game. Times running away faster than a lightning bolt for NEROCA FC. So whatever they have to do it quickly enough. The Orange Brigade, a mighty force in the earlier days, now somehow has been reduced to a struggling outfit, and that's exactly what they'll try and avoid this time. Got saved in last year's I League 2, barely by the skin of their teeth, finishing just at one spot above the relegation zone. They'll not like to see a repeat of that, but the first three games has just got them 1 point, one draw in the opener, and then two defeats. One against Sporting Club Goa and the last one against GMSC, the newcomers in I League 2. Good bit of work out there. Good link up, good touch football. That's the kind of chemistry that has been working out wonders altogether. And just on cue, it felt like they kind of lost track of the ball, overpowering that, taking it miles away. Jackson sends it downtown again. These goal kicks, if these are the ones that you cannot get right, then there definitely are problems. Because this is exactly where you have to get the ball right. You need to place them well. There's no pressure on you. NEROCA, they do well. And straight away going for the long ball. Wonderful ball for Aloysius. And Aloysius kind of pressing that panic switch a bit too early there. However, an unnecessary error from Bengaluru United gets them a corner. And it eludes everyone. Goes away. And from here, NEROCA will have to get back to their defensive stance. They do so, and they do so in clinical fashion. They'll have to keep on pushing. Goes without saying, that's kind of risky because, of course, the kind of cohesive attacking unit that Bengaluru United has, it can lead to some serious troubles. Again, one along the carpet. And just the way the ball was being won there, definitely not by the books. The referee laying down the law, awarding a free kick for NEROCA. Wonderful bit of knock forward, trying to control that. A little push towards the right. Good clearance. slightly scrappy, and finally the referee forced to get the card out. The yellow card flashed to Ramdina. Ramdina had an excellent game so far. Has been like that heartbeat at the FC Bengaluru United midfield. The kind of workload that he's taken, the kind of intensity that he's played with. So good to watch. Takes it along the carpet there, NEROCA. Yeah, you got to do better. And now a cheap concession. David Singh. David rattles the woodwork. And still the second ball. So easy. The entire defense cemented in their position. NEROCA just couldn't hit the target. After doing all the hard work, incredibly well done. David hammering the woodwork from range. That was a decent effort. And then you got to put that away from a range like that. No one marking you. For the first time in this game, Bengaluru United defense, they were frozen in their places. And yet somehow the ball just doesn't go in. That's the kind of luck that NEROCA has had. That's also the kind of tale that NEROCA has written off late in I-League 2 2025-26. It's woeful, it's sad, it's despondent, to be honest. You're trailing by a couple of goals. You are under constant caution. And if you don't take the chances, then what are you waiting for? Decent quality work, to be honest, shown by Nikhil Kumar, the way he was shielding. But then after doing the hard work, he played it straight to David. And David, who's a master at those shots, had no hesitations, wasn't on the fence, went for the shot all by himself, hammered the woodwork, and then the second ball falling exactly where his teammate would have liked it. But then failing to capitalize. It's going to be intriguing as to see if that chance, that squandered away opportunity, comes back to haunt him. David trying to wriggle free through a couple of defenders. Had no space whatsoever. Ramdina just got booked a few moments ago. This time again, trying to lay it off for Ramdina. Just couldn't get the connection right. Throw in for NEROCA. Once again, through the center. Bariam does well. Ashley now operating slightly deeper. Usually loves to be that winger altogether. Wonderful ball forward. Once again, trouble brewing. But then by the time he could arrive there, Nikhil Kumar, the assistant referee, has already raised the flag for the offside. So I had to come back empty-handed. Ishan in a little duel with Ashley Alban Kohli. And eventually no risk taken. Goes all the way back to Jackson. Gets a crucial header. This might just help NEROCA to consolidate that counter-offensive. Does well. Has some space. A little turn. Trying to lay it off for his teammate. And that is where things go horribly wrong. Amarjeet gets a touch. He could have just let the ball come to his teammate who was already on the move forward. Another cross in the box. The goalkeeper out of his line. The woodwork once again proving to be the bomber. Oh my word. That's more like the fortune gods intervening personally now. We'll take a look if it was the woodwork or the goalkeeper got something to it. No, the goalkeeper was out of his line. It was the woodwork once again. Aloysius tried his best. And NEROCA finally showing the intent, hoping to get the all-important first goal out here, reducing the deficit. These are troubling times for Bengaluru United as the Highlanders are here to prove a point, and they win a free kick from a very good position as well. Finally, after all the pressure, NEROCA, they are starting to see the light of the day. Can this be the start of something extraordinary? Time shall reveal it all. They've got Amarjeet Singh. Almost taking a stance like that of Ronaldo. Even though Ronaldo just takes a bit of a longer run up. He's got a four-man wall ahead of him. Amarjeet set to deliver. Suranjeet next to him. Amarjeet! Amarjeet! Inches away. That was well done by Amarjeet Singh. They're coming closer. We'll take a look once again. That was brilliantly done. The ball had a dip, the ball had a curl. It almost came close enough to the goal, but it just wasn't enough to penetrate the shields of FC Bengaluru United. Right now, they are feeling the heat. They're feeling the challenges. Bengaluru United, this is where they'll have to be very, very careful. Again, you cannot just write NEROCA off. It's understandable, 2 goals down. But again, they will come for you. There's still time. 17 minutes of regulation time. Plus whatsoever gets added on. Trying to send it downtown. NEROCA finds their options. A little twist and turn. And eventually make the difference. Amarjeet, he's come a long way. But then couldn't really crack past his marker. Goal kick for Bengaluru United. And with that, the drinks break as well. That goal kick from Manju kind of goes haywire again. Last few minutes, NEROCA, they've looked a lot more dangerous. That's exactly what you want to see from them time and time again. That little element of threat. Another wonderful ball forward, but before Amarjeet could make a plunge for it, he was stopped in his tracks. That's good link-up football now in the box. They might have to take a shot from range, and they do that as well. Just couldn't hit the target again. Suranjeet Singh, that little outside dodge, sets himself up for that shooting lane, and whammies one at the near post as well. But then once again, a bit more precision, maybe a bit more accuracy. NEROCA FC, now they are starting to fire those long rangers, and they have found a bit of rhythm as well. That's what NEROCA is all about. These last 13 minutes, they will try and give everything possible. They'll squeeze themselves out. They'll put their bodies on the line. A little flicker to the right. Lovely bit of cut in. And he goes on and on. trying to set it up for his teammate. Again, a bit of a track back. Goes for that cross in the box. Nicely controlled. Pushed away to the edge. Another cross, and before David could reach, that was cleared away. But for now, it feels like Bengaluru United are scrambling and crawling on their knees. If this is exactly where NEROCA can score a goal, things might just topple down like dominoes for Bengaluru United, because this is where they look certainly indecisive. That's a lovely chance! And they still fail to score. That is shocking. What a wonderful ball delivered from Surchandra, and almost arranged on a silver platter. That first touch itself, that's where he wanted to take a shot. And all he could manage was smash the wilderness on the side netting. Would you believe that? How many more chances will NEROCA need to score? So many decent positions, Amarjeet. A little concerned for Manju Hirekobar. But then you can understand the frustration growing in the NEROCA dugout. In the second half, they have looked really threatening and menacing. They've tried everything possible. And yet at the end of it all, we are standing in the 88th minute mark. That goal hasn't just come. It looks like everything's okay, and good to see
Attendance for today
Manju
is
back on his feet.
175.
80 minutes almost done and dusted. NEROCA, time and time again, they have fought and they have really looked in terrific touch in the last few minutes. But they'll have to find the goal. It's as simple as that. They'll have to find the momentum going in. No hesitations whatsoever. Another crucial change coming up.
Substitution for NEROCA FC, jersey number 5, Sochanda, replaced by jersey number 3, Santoy.
And now Sanatoy Mitei, he will be making his way to the center in place of Surchandra. Surchandra came up with a lovely ball just a few moments ago. But now one thing can be, because Sanatoy, he can also come in with those runs forward down the center. He's got that little attacking instinct in him, and maybe that's exactly what Gift Ray Khan is trying to exploit. At times, just switch to that three-man backline instead of keeping it 4-1-2-3 for now. Turn it into a 3-4-3 attacking unit. Or for the time being, maybe 3-1-2-3. 3-1-2-3-1 if Aloysius can play as the solitary forward as well, but that's interesting. That will depend on how flexible Aloysius is playing solo out there. Long ball and little tug out there. Akshan Tyagi still hunting for the hat-trick. Those two goals, the kind of pressure that has been created out in the second half, it's felt like it's gone under the rubble. Nicely done there, Kishan. Little flicker to the left again. Looking for more space. Out in the center, trying to cross it all the way. Just doesn't get it right. NEROCA now starting to commit numbers. They understand that things are opening up at the back, but they haven't got a choice. If they drop a point here, if they get no points whatsoever, then this league almost away from their clutch. And now Ashley Alban Kohli, acres of space ahead. Aloysius tracking back. And Kohli dispossessed. Might be on the ground, but this is going to be a corner. Kohli possibly just taking in a little bit of time. Another cross towards the far side. Good little run out there from Nikhil Kumar. But Nikhil failing to convert that. That header was kind of tough to control again, considering the fact that there was ample elevation on the ball. Within the last 10 minutes of regulation time, NEROCA, can they keep the pressure on? Can they intensify that as well? They'll have to try. There are no second thoughts about it. Throw in for Bengaluru United. Bengaluru United, they were kind of left gobsmacked by the sudden surge in belligerence by NEROCA. David unable to control the ball, but then he has support from Amarjeet. Suranjeet steps up, back to David, trying to cushion it off for Amarjeet. Amarjeet taking it a bit too long and then finally turns around and goes ahead with the shot as well. Just couldn't hit the target again. That was another deadly maneuver. David trying to turn and take that shot but doesn't find the space, and then Amarjeet going a bit to the right and then finally coming in and comes up with the shot. Had it been on target, there by no means was Manju stopping that. Shot after shot has come in. But when is it tracking? When is it hitting the bird's eye? Time's running away. NEROCA will have to hit the target at the earliest possible. And David needs to be a bit more active out in that final third. It's kind of looked indecisive, and now this can be a massive challenge, a massive problem, trying to switch it all the way to the left. Doesn't really find its way. Good interception. Now David on the ball. David quickly releasing that. And straight away an attacking maneuver from NEROCA. They'll have to rush forward. They'll have to put in those fresh feet if needed. 4 changes made, 1 change remained. Nalapan Mohanraj will have to have a word with his team. The quality of football that they played in the second half, they started well, but somehow their defense kind of started losing shape. Had it not been for NEROCA's profligacy, the scoreline could have been drastically and diametrically different. Aloysius finds Surchandra. But that's a lovely ball in the box and brilliant save again. Wonderfully done by Manju Hirekubar. Suranjeet saying apologies just a few moments ago. Aloysius laying it off for Suranjeet. And Suranjeet with such a wonderful ball. Picture perfect timing of the run as well. But Manju Hirekubar possibly the save of the match. Corner slightly flatter. NEROCA, you got a feel for them. They've tried so hard, shot after shot, and yet the defensive shields stay intact for Bengaluru United. They've been tested, tried, the trials and tribulations of going up against a primed NEROCA has put them in a very difficult spot, and yet they somehow hold strong. They hold on to that own fort of theirs. NEROCA once again get the wheels up and running. Another ball in the box, traded away. David just doesn't get the shot right. Bengaluru United understands one thing very clearly. David gets space in the final third. Well, that was interesting. Player get knocked out and eventually fell outside the perimeter. In Variam Jr. quickly dragging him back, hoping to kill a bit of time as well. The NEROCA players, they're protesting, possibly pointing it out that the player already was outside the park. There's no problem in him receiving treatment outside the ground. Looks like there was a bit of head-on injury concerned out there. Ashley Alvin Coley it is, but Ashley, he looks okay. He's actually had a crucial role to play so far. just asked to leave the field. We'll have to wait for a minute outside before he can come on. I think Nalapan Mohanraj, that's what he's trying to say. But then, the moment the game stops for you, you'll have to wait. That little flicker of header going all the way back. Now NEROCA, their defense is under the pump. They'll have to do better, and they eventually get the ball out of harm's way. Sends it all the way back to Jackson. Jackson hasn't been tested at all in the second half. That's how good NEROCA has been, and unfortunately, there are no goals to show for. Lovely ball in the box. Excellent trapping as well. But once again, the second touch proving to be a bit of a letdown. Throw in for NEROCA. They won't wait. They'll have to take it at the earliest. No second invitations coming their way. Quick switch to the center. They go on finding David. David now possibly looking for that shooting space. Still David, a little stutter. And the ball goes out of harm's way. But David does well. David almost in a physical tussle. And looks like David, that little push out there on the back has led to the challenge. And a change
Number 33, Ashley.
for Bengaluru United.
Number 26, Raju.
They're getting on Shun Ragui in place of Ramdina. Ramdina, what a game he's had. What's interesting is how many minutes will be added on. Looks like close to 6.
Jersey number 21. Sorry, 23.
In Bengaluru,
Out. He's replaced by jersey number
they have
26.
got a change still to make. So maybe just that time-killing change. Ashley Alvin Kohli. Again, this game now almost in the clutch of Bengaluru United. If NEROCA FC fails to score a goal in the next minute. And once again, that little push out there, going to be a free kick. Ashley Alvin Kohli, he's taken the brunt, he's faced the brunt of quite a few challenges on him.
End of the second half.
He's been brilliant as well. He's been fast, he's been agile, he's been flexible. 7 minutes of additional time. So still something for NEROCA FC to look forward to. First 3 minutes, they'll have to figure a way out. Try and reduce the deficit. They'll have to hit the target if they get a chance. Ashley Alvin Kohli sends it flat. The glancing header goes off target there. Jackson Singh will have to hunker down to business. First minute, almost about to get over. Slams it forward. Repelled away for now. And a quick switch. Ashley Alvin Kohli, light years ahead of him, decides to check that run. No hurry whatsoever. Happy enough to hold himself back, get his teammates in the act. Very cool, very composed. It looks like Bengaluru United, they are now happy to get into that defensive shell because NEROCA has threatened them intensely. The interrogation from the Highlanders has been sensational in the last 10 minutes. Unfortunately, they just couldn't score. Takes it quickly. Knocks it forward, NEROCA. They'll have to get it out of harm's way first. They'll have to keep that back door of theirs intact. And they do so. Sanatoi now will have to keep on running. Throw in favor of NEROCA. They'll have to rush forward. They'll need numbers as well. David on the ball. David gets it back to Sanatoi. And Sanatoi dispossessed way too easily. You need a bit more hardiness, a bit more resistance. David sets it up for his teammate. Amarjeet. Is it? Doesn't get the space. A wonderful bit of close down. And now trying to find something from range out there. But denied any entry whatsoever. Arun Kumar in the opposition half. Just doesn't get any hit, any connection at all. This game now almost away, miles away from NEROCA FC. They are heading for the third straight defeat, and Gift Rekhan will definitely not be happy. Once again, spirited display from NEROCA FC in the second half of the contest. But again, playing catch up and not able to hit the target just doesn't work out in their favor. A little slide out there, wonderful ball knocked forward. Is there still another long ranger brewing? Suranjit looking for space, looking for his teammates. Another cross, a backheader there by his own team altogether, Bengaluru United. But lucky that they could get the ball away from the goals frame. And another corner for NEROCA FC. They have been hustling and bustling with energy. Launches that corner towards the far side. NEROCA, they've got personnel there, but in a bit of a tight angle. Throw in for themselves. Launches that into the box. Not convincing enough. NEROCA will have to rebuild again. And they'll have to do it quickly enough as well. Kishan sends it back to Jackson. Suranjit again. Suranjit going for Aloysius. Slightly higher to Aloysius' liking. Back to Jackson again. A little switch from the left to the right. Trying to control the ball. Amarjeet. Amarjeet does well to keep the defender off his scent. And Amarjeet's attempt to try and lay it off for Aloysius goes wrong. Ashley Alvin Kohli. A little feint out there. He's struggling. It looks like he's pulled his hamstring along. That was exactly what that little stutter was all about. You can see him that he is definitely not in a good position, because he couldn't really complete the run while he was chasing the ball. It's interesting to see Ashley continuing for now. Kind of forced out here. His 5 changes have been made, so Ashley won't be able to come in. Ashley was the first change, came in the 21st minute. Then in the second half, Savin Eriksson came in, Shan Ragui came in, Nikhil Kumar came in, and Maximinus Danmay came in. Another hit from range again, flies out. The same story, time and time again, almost having a firing squad at their disposal. Suranjit there, setting it up with that little first touch. And then the shot not hitting the target. You can see Ashley struggling for now. Nothing that you can do. Stretches out, because Ashley, if he has to go out, he'll have to go out. So we are already in the last minute. Don't think he's returning. So the last minute, NEROCA will have to play. Apologies, Bengaluru United will have to play with 10 men. Knocks it forward, decent bit of header as well, and gets it out. It's now about just playing out the minutes. This game's done and dusted. All the attempt made by NEROCA, at least trying to find the goals out there, could only end up in despair. They've tried all right, but then at times you got to do a lot more than that. The intent, the idea of coming up with the long ranges definitely looked good in the second half. But unless you're hitting the target from the long ranges, woodwork doesn't really count. Now NEROCA still hunting for that consolation strike maybe. Sanatoi from the left. Sanatoi with that little outside dodge. Sanatoi trying to lay it off. And finally a consolation strike for Sanatoi. They've tried and after all the efforts out there, one late release from Amarjeet, and Sanatoi does so wonderfully, goes on that run and eventually lets the ball take a hit. takes the deflection off the woodwork and finally finds its way into the back of the net. Well, the referee still
Goal for
hasn't
NEROCA
said play
FC.
on
Jersey number
or
26.
let's
One
time
point.
or it's time to stop the play. NEROCA, can they pull in one late plunge, one late shot of drama? But for that to happen, the ball will have to travel forward. They'll have to do so quickly. They knock it forward in the box, step back header. Too easy now for Bengaluru United. And they knock it out for a throw in. But that is that. Akash Kumar Mehta says, game, set, match for Bengaluru United. What a thrilling game of football. The first match, the first half rather, the
Second
first
square
45 minutes
CFC. FC
definitely
Bengaluru
looked
United
like in
2.
control
NEROCA FC
of
1.
Bengaluru United. 2 goals to good, both of them coming from Akshay Natyagi. And then in the second half, Naroka found momentum, found the space to try and fire home those long rangers, rattled the woodwork twice, was saved by the goalkeeper once, and then kept on missing out targets. And eventually, Sanatoy Mitei got a consolation strike in the 97th minute, but that wasn't enough. As Bengaluru United, they register their first win of the tournament, now moving on to 5 points. And sadly for Naroka, at the end of the fourth game, just that one draw and 3 defeats. With that being said, we come to the end of this game week. Thank you everyone for joining in. This was incredible to see you all in act. Full time scoreline Bengaluru United 2, Naroka Football Club 1. With that being said, we say goodbye. We'll see you